One of the things that we admire about you here at Wize, Jamie, and aspire to learn more is also your ability to delegate, to identify what's there to be done, but to delegate it and delegate it quickly and smoothly. So, if we could just touch on that a little bit more today for the attendees, that'd be really great.
Yeah, delegation, it's the most important, I think, technique or tool or skill to learn. Dr. Stephen Covey in his book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, talks about the importance of delegation. Delegation, he says, it's the most important thing to both personal and organizational growth. But the core of delegation is really that human interaction that, Dr. Covey calls interdependence. And interdependence can only be activated by independent people. So, independent people can do things themselves, but when you get 2 or 3 people together to achieve a goal or an outcome, that's interdependence. And what does that really mean? Well, essentially what it really means is that you have to micro-train people. I hear all the time that people say to me, oh, my staff can't do it like me. My staff or my team, they lack the skills, they lack the experience, they lack the attitude. And I've heard it 1,000 times. And if you can relate, like, put your hand up. And I was the same, but there's only so many years it can go on where, you blame external circumstances for your lot in life. So you've really got to understand that in order to help people do their jobs, or clone yourself, if you like, is that you literally have to get in the trenches with them. So you've got to be able to sit with them next to you day in, day out, record exactly what you're doing, document exactly what you're doing, so that they understand and you understand what the objective is in the task that you're doing. And if you look at the 5 steps of delegations, the first step in delegation is what they call, what's the desired results? What are we trying to achieve here? So the delegation is a very personal, I think, transfer of knowledge from one person to the other. But business is complex, so you have to document everything that you do and make sure that, the person that you're delegating to has the natural DNA to do their job. So, for example, a client manager would need the DNA of having, interpersonal skills. You've got to be able to like people, but some people aren't like that. Some people, Kristy, just love doing the work. Like Ed Chan says, play people to their position.
Yeah.
And the role of a coach, that's if you own your own firm, or if you're a senior client manager and you're in a leadership position, you have to become a coach. Now, a coach is harder than obviously being a critic, and it's also harder than sort of being, say, a captain. A coach has to see the potential in people and develop that potential. And the more that you can document, get people in the right position on the field, the more that you can document in detail what they have to do, you'll help them achieve success. Documenting is very important. Creating policies and procedures is very important, because that then will reduce errors. There's a thing everyone can look up called 6 Sigma. Basically it's a business concept that means so many errors per transaction, or so many errors per iteration. And the way that you reduce errors and the way that you increase the quality of the outcome is by systems and policies and procedures. And there's another book that you can look up called the Checklist Manifesto. And it's basically about a study in the US where a lot of patients in hospitals were dying or getting very ill. And as soon as the author came to the hospitals and consulted to them, they established policies and procedures, because what was happening was patients were getting the wrong medicine. They were getting too much medicine or not enough medicine, right? And people were dying.
Pretty serious.
Deadly serious, yeah.
Yeah.
So they brought in this, that's what the book's about, the Checklist Manifesto. So they developed checklists and had people follow policies and follow procedures. And then, people stopped dying. it's a bit like another analogy is pretend that you go to work every day and you're flying a 747 with 300 people in the plane. And you're following all the checklists, because if you don't flick one button, people's lives are at risk. So again, the policies and the procedures are very, very important. And when do you make those policies and procedures? The 1 hour a day that I said, you know, and then the key to that is then communicating the policies, procedures, communicating the checklist to the people that are important. And the best way to do that is with your daily huddle or your weekly meeting or your monthly board meeting. People sort of ask me, what do I do one day a week at Sky Accountants? And essentially, at its core, that is approve policies and procedures over and over and over and over. Yeah.
It's such an important part. And I really love the way that everything intertwines with micro training comes down to systems and processes to follow and teach to your team.
Mm-hmm.
Freeing up your time comes down to tracking where your time is being spent and creating policies and procedures to then delegate that work. And, you know, it also empowers your team members to be successful in their roles because they've got systems that support them. You've identified what seat they should be in, where are they in their greatest state of flow, and then making sure they have systems to support them. The clients get the greatest outcome because the work is consistent. It never skips a beat, no matter who's doing the work. It's such an intertwined part of your business, isn't it, of getting those processes in place, because the ripple effect is across all of it.